Welcome to the GSG Music and Ultimate Music Theory Level 5 Supplemental Workbook Teacher Presentation. Today, you will learn about NEPD, what it is, and why we need it. I've lots to share with you. As you can tell, I'm really excited. So you may want to grab a pen, and hopefully you've downloaded those worksheets for this presentation and are ready to take some good notes. As always, we are here to support you, so feel free to jot down any questions you may have, and if I haven't answered them in this session, just contact us and we'll be happy to answer them for you. So, I'm Glory St. Germain, that's me on the left, together with Sheila McKibben-Uren, and we've created the Ultimate Music Theory program. You know, as I prepared to write this presentation and create these teaching techniques for you, I was reminded of all the professional stretching I've had to do over the course of my career. Now, think about this. Think about your potential as a rubber band. What are all the ways you can use a rubber band? Think about it. Just put a list in the chat for me. Do I see a hair tie? All right, holding pencils together. Oh, there's a good one. Snapping it across the room just to annoy somebody, or even putting it on your wrist to represent something special. Now, what is the one thing all of these uses have in common? Anybody? All right, well, perhaps you've already guessed it. Rubber bands, like your potential, are only useful when they are stretched. Now, stretching always requires change, and stretching always starts from the inside out. And this year, as you can see, although it kind of looks like a halo up there, but my rubber band and I did a lot of stretching. So how is your rubber band doing? I should have given Sheila one too. The Ultimate Music Theory series is taught together with the UMT Supplemental series that correlates to the 2016 Royal Conservatory of Music Theory syllabus. As a teacher, you and I know how important it is to have handy answer books at your fingertips. And in fact, we are the only series with identical matching answer books, saving you hours of your precious time for quick, easy, and accurate marking. Now, Sheila and I are super excited to introduce you to the UMT Dream Team. As you can tell, we always love to have fun. And we want to recognize 3 Ultimate Music Theory certified teachers that have joined our team for their contributions to the supplemental series. So starting in the front row starting on the left, is Julianne Warkentine, our Ultimate Piano Series composer. In the middle, with the big smile, is Ruth Douglas, our Harmony History and Analysis consultant. And Joanne Barker, on the right beside her computer creating her games, is our Ultimate Music Theory games creator. And as you can see, we like to have a lot of fun, but there are also days when, like Joanne, we feel like pulling our hair out because our students are asking us, why? Wait, what? At Ultimate Music Theory, we take those complicated concepts, make it easy, and make it fun. So now you and your students can jump up and shout, yay, I get it. I am so smart. It's just a lot of fun, and we're here to help you get organized. Now, the UMT workbooks plus the UMT supplemental workbooks equal the RCM theory levels. So to date, and if you've been with us on all the webinars or have followed along on the Teach the UMT Supplemental series, we have covered Prep 1 as used with the Prep level followed by Level 1, Prep 2 as used with Level 2 followed by Level 3, Basic as used with Level 4, and today of course we're doing Level 5 in the Supplemental Workbook. Intermediate, and by the way, Level 5 is the first level that has theory exams with RCM. Intermediate is used with Level 6 followed by Level 7, and then finally Advanced is used with Level 8. Now the complete all-in-one complete rudiments workbook together with the all-in-one complete supplemental workbook helps students prepare for nationally recognized theory exams, including the RCM Level 8 theory exam and, of course, college entrance exams and state exams as well. In today's session, you will learn about Level 5. And by now, students have completed the Basic Rudiments Workbook, that's the yellow book, plus the Level 4 Supplemental Workbook. And now these are meant to be taught together at the same time, followed by the Level 5 Supplemental Workbook, which is just a standalone workbook. Now, the RCM exams begin with Level 5, and when preparing students for Level 5, be sure to use the Basic Rudiments and the Level 4 Supplemental Workbook first, as they set that foundation for Level 5. So you need to complete them in order. Ah, look at our Mr. Opera Man there. Why sing the praises? Why sing the UMT praises? Well, because we care about you and your teaching, which is why we developed the Ultimate Music Theory teaching techniques. Now, a technique is defined as a way of carrying out a particular task to develop a skill or ability in a particular field, to have an efficient way of doing or achieving something, such as the execution or performance of an artistic work. Now, it's one thing to teach a concept, but using successful teaching techniques makes teaching and learning so much easier, and that's what we are all about, and I'm sure you are as well, because that's why you're here. Today, you will learn 3 easy techniques for teaching Level 5. We're going to cover melody writing, music history, and musicianship. At UMT, we got you covered. And today is about Level 5, what's new, composing and other confusing stuff, and there's a lot of it, music history, who's cool, you're going to like that one, and musicianship, you first. Plus, a UMT success story from our very own Ultimate Music Theory certified teacher, Becky Landreth from Texas. And as you know, everything's big in Texas, so I can't wait to hear from Becky. The Level 5 table of contents itemizes the new concepts that are outlined in the comparison chart. So today we're going to look at the introduction of compound time and chord symbols. We're going to take a look at that. Also composing and music history. I've got some cool things to share with you. And of course, we can't cover everything, so I just sort of picked the few that I thought would be the most fun to do for today with you. And we've also included as a bonus a Level 5 theory exam and a special certificate to recognize your students' successful completion of Level 5. So that's everything that we've got lined up for you for today. Now, if you have your Level 5 workbook and answer book handy, you can follow along with the pages we're covering today. So I'd really suggest grabbing your Level 5 and you can follow along. So the Level 5 comparison chart maps out the RCM Level 5 theory concepts with the Level 5 supplemental workbook. And here you can see that they're all lined up. It's really easy for you to follow along. At the bottom, you'll see the little star, and the supplemental workbook pages are indicated with a star as the new concepts introduced in the 2016 RCM theory syllabus. Now, these concepts are reviewed in the analysis pages. On the other side, you see what's covered, what's new in chords and harmony, and also melody and composition, and as well as history. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you ready to stretch your rubber band to its full potential? Because we've got a lot that we're going to cover today. So grab your coffee and a cookie, and let's start stretching. First, with the 3 easy techniques for teaching Level 5 is melody writing, even if you're not a composer. So composing and other confusing stuff. In basic rudiments, you learned about transposing up or down 1 octave. Then in Level 4, you learned about composing a 4-measure phrase. And now what's new in level 5 is you will be learning about composing a parallel period in a major key. But let's start with all that other confusing stuff. Compound time signatures can be confusing until now. You could just jot me a little note in the chat box. How many of you find teaching compound time confusing? For some of you, it might be a piece of cake, and for some of us, it's really confusing. So we want to just kind of simplify it. Now, this is new to level 5. Previously, in basic rudiments, compound time was not introduced until the intermediate level. So now here it is in level 5. In level 5, on pages 14 and 15, you will see the compound time signature chart. Now, the scoops are a visual representation of one group. So in simple time, each group equals one undotted note. In compound time, each group equals one dotted note. Now, this clearly shows that the top number, such as 6, indicates the number of beats per measure, which is 6. And the pulse is strong, weak, weak, medium, weak, weak. There's 2 groups of 3 that indicate the compound pulse is strong dot weak dot. We got it. Now the bottom number, such as 8, indicates that an 8th note equals 1 beat at the group of 3. So if we have 3 eighth notes, it equals 1 dotted quarter note. Now, the introduction to 6/8 time is now really easy to identify as the basic beat equals 1/8 note and the compound basic beat equals 1 dotted quarter note. So let's start adding rests in compound time. This really makes it easy to identify the basic beat and the compound basic beat. And you can see how simple it is visually for students to really get this. We've just mapped it out. And remember the KISS method. Keep it super simple. All right, adding rests in compound time. So exclusive to the UMT program is our proven rhythm and rest system, using scoops to analyze rhythm by recognizing the basic beat and pulse, and the compound basic beat and the compound pulse. Who's ready? Say aye. Aye. Great. Rests in 6/8 time. I wish I could hear you talking back to me. That would be awesome. So rests in 6/8 time. Now, a strong plus weak or strong plus weak may be combined into one rest, right? A medium plus weak or a medium plus weak may be combined into one rest. Now here's the cool part. A weak pulse cannot be joined to a medium or a weak pulse because of course he's just a little weakling, and we use the tilde sign, that little squiggle, which means to not join, to indicate that 2 separate rests are to be used. Now using the pulse and compound pulse, students can easily identify how to add rest to complete a measure. So here you see the answer book for page 16. Now, what Sheila and I love, and so do thousands of other teachers about our answer books, are that they're actually handwritten answers that clearly show how the UMT plus and tilde sign technique helps students easily determine the correct way to add rest to complete a measure. So that's just simply making it easy, right? Check. And you can see, just as the student would, write the pulse, basic beat, compound basic beat, and compound pulse below each measure, and then cross them off as each is completed. Now, meet my student, Cassidy. Using UMT's exclusive plus and tilde sign techniques guarantees there is something to smile about. Doesn't she look excited? She's just the happiest little thing ever. The great thing about completing the exercises now using the whiteboard first is that it's easy to erase, to make corrections, and review concepts before assigning exercises to be completed for homework. Now, I know Sheila and Judy Hanley, I mean, there's millions of you teachers that are using those whiteboards, and you basically think can't live without it, right? And it's so fun to use the whiteboard. So if you don't have it, you absolutely definitely want to grab a whiteboard because it will become the go-to in your studio. Now watch Cassidy as she completes her rhythm and rest exercise.
Okay, Cassidy, so today we're talking about compound time. Now, you're already done the Basic Rudiments Workbook, and you did your level 4. And Sola and Tito are here to help you do level 5. So welcome, Cassidy. We're back.
Yay.
So today we're going to talk about how to add rests in compound time. So tell me, how many groups do you see there?
3. I mean 2.
Just kidding. Okay. And you're right. You see 3 notes, but how many groups do you see?
2 groups.
2 groups. Okay. So let's go ahead and add rests. Could you put your scoops underneath the groups that you see in each measure? So we have 1, 2. Just go ahead and finish the whole line. Excellent. And what is the pulse that you see in each group?
Strong, weak, weak, medium, weak, weak.
Okay, perfect. You've got one more measure. We'll go ahead and finish that one off. So in adding rests, and now we're in compound time, why do we need the pulse when we're adding rests?
So we know how we can combine the rests.
Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead, Cassidy, and cross off the basic beat of what you already have, and then we can start adding our rests. Very good. Okay, so now in the first measure, you've crossed off the strong and the last week. Can a week be joined to a week?
No.
Okay, so what sign do you need? Plus sign or tilde?
Tilde.
Okay, and then go ahead and add your 2 rests in there. What kind of rests are you adding?
8th rest.
Correct, okay. Medium, weak, plus or tilde?
We need a plus sign.
A plus sign, okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and add that. Excellent. And now what kind of rest will you put up there, Cassidy?
A quarter rest.
Quarter rest. Okay, let's go ahead and put that in there. Beautiful. Okay, next measure. So let's go ahead and cross off what you have. Oh, you did already. Okay, 8th note. Okay, so now let's do our plus and tilde signs first. So strong to weak, what kind of sign will you use?
A plus sign.
Okay, so let's go ahead and add that. So we have plus. Next one.
We can also have another plus sign.
Another plus sign. Now, could that weak go over to the medium?
No.
No. Okay, so then we need to add
Tilde.
tilde. He's not going to be invited. All right, and then what about the medium to the weak?
The medium can pick up a weak, so
Perfect.
we can have a plus sign.
Plus sign. All right, now we're ready to add our rests. So in the first part, what kind of rest will we use for those 3/8 notes?
We can have a dotted quarter rest.
Okay, let's go ahead and put in the dotted quarter rest. And where does the dot go when you have a quarter rest?
The 3rd space.
The 3rd space. Okay, you want to put it right after the rest. So let's just go ahead and erase that because they're like buds, so they're together. Perfect. Okay, and then what kind of rest do we need for the medium week?
A quarter rest.
Quarter rest. Now, because we're in compound time, we've got our basic beat, which is 6/8 notes. But in the last measure, we have our 2 groups. And now we want to know what the compound basic beat is. So if you have 3/8 notes, the compound basic beat will be 1 what?
1 dotted quarter note.
Okay, so go ahead and add that to the bottom, a dotted quarter note. And then another dotted quarter note. So now that pulse would be strong dot, weak dot. Are we going to have plus or tilde there?
Plus.
Plus. Okay, so we'll have strong dot and then weak dot. Okay, and what kind of a rest is going to fill the whole measure?
A whole rest.
A whole rest. And he always hangs from?
From the 4th line.
4th line, falls into party space 3. Excellent. You're such an artist, Cassidy. Look at your artwork there. Lovely. It's the same color as Sola's lipstick. It is. That's beautiful. Great. Thanks, Cassidy. So that's good. Now that we've reviewed all of the 6/8 time, how to add rests, our basic beat and pulse, you're ready to go ahead and start your homework. So this week you're going to be completing the pages on compound time, page 14 and page 15. Okay?
Okay.
She's pretty cute, right? In level 4, students learned about root position chords and root quality chord symbols. Now in level 5, on page 40, students are learning about chords or triads in root position and inversions. So that's new to this level, level 5. These root quality chord symbols now include the slash chord. Now, the slash chord is a root quality chord symbol letter, or letter with an M, of course, which means minor, followed by a slash and another letter. And that letter is indicating an inversion. So the letter after the slash is the name of the lowest note of the triad. So the root quality chord symbol is E. It indicates E major triad in root position. So next, now observing the square I'm thinking brackets, we see A minor triad in root position, indicated by the root quality chord symbol of AM, which means A minor. Now the arrow is pointing to C, and that's indicating the lowest note of the given triad. So the lowest note of the given triad is written in first inversion. So the root quality chord symbol is A, the root, followed by a lowercase m, indicating minor, followed by a slash, indicating, oh, that's an inversion, followed by the letter C, indicating the lowest note of the triad is C. Now, it's pretty easy when you think about it, but when we first see it and are teaching it, it's a little complicated. Now, really, the success trick here, the technique is to use the square I'm thinking brackets. And you see little Sola there. She's helping us out. And next we see G/D chord, indicating G major in second inversion. Now, in the answer book, and I just want to share this with you, on page 40, here's how UMT's exclusive square I'm thinking brackets technique helps students easily write the triad in root position, right? And then draw an arrow pointing to the lowest note of the given triad. So we see our triad and the lowest note is C, and then identify the root quality chord symbol. So that makes it easy to identify G minor/D, A/C sharp, and B flat/D. So using the square I'm thinking brackets is absolutely the key to getting 100% on these, and the little arrows too. And in our workbooks, we've left lots of room so students can easily do these exercises as we've indicated. Functional chord symbols. Now, functional chord symbols identify the root, the quality, the scale degree. All right, and then the added figure base indicates the position of the triad. Now remember that new now is that we are indicating inversions, and the functional chord symbols are written below the triad. So in level 4 on page 41, Sola says follow these 3 steps to write a triad. Using a key signature, use the square I'm thinking brackets to write the root position triad and then write the inversion. Write the root quality chord symbol above and the functional chord symbol below. Now, Tito Tip says if the root position triad in square I'm thinking brackets is written with an accidental, the accidental must be repeated when writing the inversion of the triad. Now, when students are doing their exams, they can, as long as they're using the square I'm thinking brackets, that is fine. And always make sure it's at the end of the measure, because what they're marked on is the first thing that they're putting into the staff, so they can indicate the position that is being asked for. Now, in the answer book on page 41, you can see how this technique makes it really easy to complete these exercises using the square I'm thinking brackets. First is the tonic triad of D major in second inversion. check. Next is the subdominant triad of E flat major, first inversion, check. Dominant triad of F minor, second inversion, check. And subdominant triad of B minor, first inversion, check. So now we've got 100% on this question. Pretty easy, right? Looks like Cassidy's making progress by stretching her rubber band and using her square I'm thinking brackets to complete her exercises on chord symbols. Listen as Cassidy identifies the root quality chord symbols and discovers how intervals determine the functional chord symbol numbers. Now, this is just a great exercise, and I always have my students doing this on the whiteboard so they can easily see the intervals. Here's Cassidy.
Okay, Cassidy, we're on page 41, and we're now going to do our chords. So I noticed that you've already gone ahead and done them on the whiteboard. So we're going to do the root quality chord symbol and then the functional chord symbol. We're going to do the root quality chord symbol above the chord and the functional chord symbol below. You ready?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am, she says. Okay, let's do this. So the very first one, we're doing D major triad. The root of D major tonic triad would be what?
D.
D. So go ahead and put the letter D up there. Okay, now is that in root position?
This is in second inversion.
Okay, so now we want to go ahead and put in a slash. And what note's at the bottom?
A is at the bottom.
A. Okay, so then we're going to add your A. All right, excellent. Now we'll put in the functional chord symbol. So this is the tonic. So what number will that be?
1.
1. Okay, go ahead and do that. Now, in order to determine the functional chord symbol, what is the interval from the top note to the root?
That would be 6.
6. Okay, so we're going to put 6, and then from the second note there, yeah, go ahead and put your lines down. Perfect. And then the next interval to the root would be?
4.
4. So that's called a 6/4. Excellent. Okay, let's do the next one. So now we have the subdominant. What number is that?
4.
4, subdominant of E flat major. So who is the root?
A flat.
Okay, so we'll do our functional chord symbol, for root quality chord symbol first, A flat. Okay, and then is A flat the root of that triad?
No, C is.
C, okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the slash C. Okay, now we're writing the subdominant. What number is that?
4.
4, and it's major, so uppercase or lower?
Uppercase.
Okay, so uppercase 4. Okay, and then go ahead and finish your functional chord symbol. Top note to the root, or to the bottom would be?
That would be 6.
Yeah, so go ahead and draw that in. 6, and then the bottom to the interval is an interval of a?
Third.
Third. Okay, so that's your 4, 6, 3. Excellent. Okay, next one. Now we're doing the dominant triad of F minor in second inversion. Okay, dominant is number?
5.
5. Okay, so now what is the root note of that triad in root position?
C.
C, so we're going to go ahead and put your C on top. Now, is C the root of your chord?
No, G.
G is the bottom. Okay, C is the root, but it's not in root position.
No.
So you're right. Okay, so go ahead and do your slash. And so what note is at the bottom? It's G.
G.
Perfect. Okay, so now this was the dominant. So what Roman numeral will we use?
5.
5. Okay, so go ahead and put that in. And now we just need to finish off that functional chord symbol. So go ahead and figure out what your intervals are. Top to bottom is a?
6.
6. And then the bottom 2 would be?
4.
4. Excellent. Now the last one is going to be a little bit tricky. So now they're asking you to write the subdominant triad of B minor in first inversion. Subdominant is what number?
4.
4. Okay, so now we're going to look at our triad. Who is the root?
That would be E.
E. So go ahead and put your E on top. Now we have E, G, B. Is that major or minor?
That is a minor chord.
Minor. Okay, so we need a little baby M there, lowercase m. And then slash. Now who is at the bottom?
G.
G. Okay, so go ahead and finish. So our root quality chord symbol is E. and then lowercase m for minor, and G is at the bottom, okay? And now we're going to put in our functional chord symbol. So subdominant is what number?
4.
4. So we're going to use upper or lowercase?
Lowercase, okay, because it's minor.
Because it's minor, perfect. Okay, and then go ahead and finish your numbers there. And so these are so easy because all we have to do is just read the intervals, right? 6 and then
3.
3. Great. So was that easy or was that easy?
Easy.
Easy. Good.
In level 5, on page 54, you are completing a 2-measure phrase ending on stable scale degree 1. A melody may consist of a 2-measure phrase followed by a question phrase followed by a 2-measure answer phrase. So you're learning to end the melody moving in stepwise motion from the supertonic down to the tonic and from the leading tone up to the tonic. So that is the exercise. We want to end on the tonic, but we can approach it in stepwise motion, stepping down to the tonic or stepping up to the tonic. Now, in the answer book on page 54, you will see completed examples. One possible answer for each question using the given rhythm and then ending on the tonic as indicated. So again, the first one up there is just blank, so that would be what the question looks like, and then the one below it is the answer book, right? So you can see that they've stepped down to the tonic and that they stepped up to the tonic. And it's good to, start with those little rules, but for sure we want to have fun because composing is about creativity, right? 4-measure phrase. So what's new in level 5 is the parallel period. Now, a parallel period usually 8 measures and contains 2 4-measure phrases. So the first 4-measure phrase is called the antecedent, that asks the question and may end on an unstable scale degree, such as 2 or 7, and sounds unfinished or open, questioning. The second 4-measure phrase is called the consequent, and that concludes the answer, and it may end on a stable scale degree 1 or 3. I usually encourage my students to end on 1, even though 3 is also acceptable, but just when they're starting out. It sounds a little more final for them. Now, in the answer book on page 55, you will see the antecedent ends on an unstable scale degree 2. And when composing the 4-measure consequent or answer phrase, be sure to copy the first 2 measures from the question phrase into the first 2 measures of the answer phrase. And then complete the answer phrase ending on the tonic. So that is scale degree number 1. And you'll see that I've written one possible answer, which is written on these pages, as they are provided for you as sample answers, right? So you and your students will come up with your own ideas, but at least you have something that you can look at, right? Where do we start when we're doing composing if you haven't done it before? And a lot of students will ask you this question. This is a big one. You ready? Am I a composer? Now, your students may have asked you that. You can leave me a little note. How many of you have had your students say, am I a composer? That question mark on their face when they're first ready to start composing. Well, get out your rubber band and stretch your mind, stretch your comfort zone, and remember, stretching always requires change. When starting composing, Danica kind of has, or Danica, Cassidy has that I'm not sure look on her face, right? But that's okay. To be honest, Cassidy really stretched her rubber band and stepped outside her comfort zone in doing these videos with me. Now, listen as she creates her question and answer parallel period.
All right, Miss Cassidy, we're starting with our parallel period composing today. We're on page 55, and Sola and Tito look a little concerned. Antecedent asks a question, consequent concludes. That's like a big mouthful. How do you feel about composing?
It's scary.
It's really scary, right? It is, and it's okay to be scared. So I just want you to play the very first, can you just say that little line up there?
Antecedent asks a question, consequent concludes.
Oh, you did good with that. That's like a tongue twister. So I'm just going to get you to play the antecedent. What is the antecedent? It's the
first phrase that asks a question.
Exactly right, the first phrase. So go ahead and play that just in the question. And I see you've got Tito sitting there. You've already written it out on your whiteboard. So go ahead and play that, Cassidy. Okay, now in order just to kind of help you out the first time, I don't want you to be too scared, I'm actually going to let you look inside the answer book. So go ahead and grab the answer book. Now, the answer book, and this is not cheating, this is called studying. So I want you to play what's written in the answer book so you kind of have a clue like, how do I get started? What should I do? So go ahead and play the answer as you see it written in the first one there. Very good. So what you notice is that a question ends with kind of a question mark and openness, right? So it's usually ending on an unstable scale degree. And a stable scale degree would be degree number? One. Okay, so now I'm going to have you close the answer book. No more cheating there. Oh, that was studying. That's not cheating. That's studying. Okay, so now go ahead and you create your own. Now, the reason that we've got the whiteboard up here is because it's good to try a few different things before writing the answer in your actual book. So I always like to use the whiteboard first so you can kind of have a few ideas and write them down and then pick the one you like best. So go ahead and let's hear your first example. Remember that the first two measures will be identical, and then you're going to use that dotted quarter note, eighth note, quarter note, and then dotted half note. That's the rhythmic pattern we're going to use for the consequent or the answer phrase. Okay. And you're going to end on what note?
The tonic.
Which is what?
C.
C, because we're in the key of C, correct?
Yes.
All right, Sol and Tito are here to support you. So here is Cassidy in her first composition in a parallel period. You did great. Now do another one, but this time it has to be different.
Okay.
Because, and it's a good thing that we're recording this because my daughter Sherry, who you know is a composer and musician, and she always says record everything and then you can write it down. You just have to, figure out what you played and go ahead and put it on your whiteboard. So let's do one more. Okay. Let's see what you come up with this time. Very good. Was that different?
Yes.
Okay, good job. Thanks, Cassidy. Now you can write it out on your whiteboard and then we'll put it in your workbook.
She did great, didn't she? Now, the second technique for teaching level 5 is music history, and nope, not boring. I remember working on my history and I thought, is it really necessary? Now, as you know, what seems interesting to one person may seem boring to another person. So when it comes to teaching music history, we need to use our rubber band to stretch our imagination so that it's not boring. And let's face it, with all the modern sounds of music, electronic instruments, various genres from jazz to rap to rock, etc., learning and listening to Handel, Mozart, Arlen, may not be at the top of the playlist on your listening device or your students either. However, right, it is important to learn to expand our rubber band so we can experience different styles and truly understand music at a deeper level. Now, one common thread, you want to write this down, one common thread in all music styles and genres is being able to identify performing forces, no matter what the genre is, and understand the relationship between music and text. Now, just think about your favorite song. Go ahead and write it in the chat box here. What's your favorite song? Just type it in so I feel like you're with me. Your favorite song that relates the music and the text. What do the words mean to you? I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. As a special gift, we've done a lot of homework for you, and we've created the GSG Music free resources. Now I know you're going to love me forever, with easy access to videos in all genres. And now you can listen and identify the performing forces easily. Just got easier. Listen as Cassidy explains. What are performing forces? Have a listen.
So we've been learning a lot about composers and different things and how music sounds. And now when we're in our level 5, Cassidy, we are learning about performing forces. So tell me a little bit about performing forces. What is that exactly?
Well, it says here that the term performing forces indicates the instruments or voice types used to perform a work, piece, or a song. And when the performing forces are a solo singer, like this guy, the violin, like Sola's playing the violin, and the piano, Tito's here playing the piano, each of the performing forces can be identified by their unique tone color. So that means if this guy was singing, or if Sola was playing the violin and Tito was playing the piano, you could tell what the performing forces are just based on the tone color.
Very good. Okay, so now we're going to have some fun, and we're going to go to the free resources on the website, gsgmusic.com or ultimatemusictheory.com, and we're going to listen to the performing forces of Mozart's Queen of the Night. And Cassidy, you are going to have to identify your favorite performing forces. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's have some fun.
When you go to gsgmusic.com or ultimatemusictheory.com, either one, simply click on free resources at the top of the page and then scroll down to find whatever level you're looking for. Today we're looking for level 5, and then click on view page. Then, when you're studying about music history and Mozart, for example, simply go to the free resources. Now, in level 5, pages 68 and 69, answer the questions and listen to Mozart's opera, Queen of the Night from the Magic Flute. I know it's a lot to see on the page here, and we're not going to read through all of it, but I just wanted to show you what the workbooks look like inside. So who's cool? Good question. You're going to really like this one. This is so much fun. Mozart's Queen of the Night from the Magic Flute. Now remember that we want to teach music history so it's not boring. Even if you love history, maybe your students don't. I know I didn't really love history when I took it as a teenager, but since writing and working on the Ultimate Music Theory Supplemental series with Sheila, I have come to love history because I've really learned a lot in preparing these materials for you, and it's really kind of cool. Now listen to various videos from Mozart's Queen of the Night from the Magic Flute. And remember, we've got this all done for you. So listen to opera. Wow, doesn't she look dramatic? Listen to modern instruments that require no touching. When you watch this video, you're going to be amazed. He never touches the instrument. It's so cool. And finally, the birds. Now, they really steal the show, and they are all performing Mozart's Queen of the Night from the Magic Flute. So, let's see who Cassidy thinks is cool. Check it out.
All right, we're learning about Queen of the Night from Mozart's opera, The Magic Flute. So Cassidy, you've got this up on your free resources here. So the first one we're going to listen to is Queen of the Night. So let's go ahead and listen to the first one, and you're going to choose which is your favorite. So the first one, let's have a little listen to it. Oh, don't you just want that outfit, Cassidy?
Very interesting.
Very interesting. All right, let's check out the next one. All right, so now you're looking at what?
Electronic instruments.
All right, so let's hear this one. Wouldn't that be crazy to play that instrument? He almost looked like it's magic because he's not even touching anything.
Looks invisible.
He does look invisible. It's very cool. And he's still playing with the acoustic instrument of the violin and the cello, right? And then he's got the keyboard and whatever that thing's called. I'm not really sure. All right, we got one more video. So let's check out the next one. This Performing Forces. Now this Performing Forces is going to be who?
Birds.
The birds, because it says Mozart's Queen of the Night is also for the birds. So let's hear this one. It should be good. Did he just like tap his foot in time to the music? That's pretty crazy, right? So Cassidy, what do you think? Which is your favorite? Can you tell me, first of all, let's go back, scroll up, and just tell me the performing forces as you were listening to them. So the first performing force is what?
Is her voice.
Is her voice. And she actually has to have a specially trained voice in order to sing like that. So it's very, very special. Okay, so the next performing force that you listened to was
the electronic instruments.
Yes, the magic, like almost magic electronic instrument. And then the third performing force was
the bird.
The bird. So which one is your favorite?
My favorite was the birds.
The bird. Performing forces are really fun, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
That's great. Thanks, Cassidy.
And finally, the third technique for teaching level 5 is musicianship. You first. Musicianship is having knowledge, skill, and artistic sensitivity in performing music. The sheer musicianship of a performance is breathtaking, right? Musicianship is one who composes, improvises, conducts, or performs music, and it includes listening and means learning about music theory and developing our musical memory. If you're applying musicianship, so think about this, if you're applying musicianship to your reading, you can identify a 4-measure phrase as a single object, as opposed to just a series of a bunch of random notes, right? Musicianship is the art of expression, interpretation, reflection, and creation. And definitely, as Sheila and I have discovered, requires stretching our rubber bands. Yes, I do wear a rubber band on my wrist because it reminds me to be open to learning and stretching. We've talked about stretching our minds today and being open to learning new things, and now it's time to talk about NEPD. Now, if you have been with me on some of my other presentations or seen any of our live workshops as I've traveled around the country, you perhaps have heard me talk about NEPD. NEPD is never-ending professional development. And what is truly unique about teaching the Ultimate Music Theory program is that not only have we developed learning materials for students and answer books and free resources for you as a teacher, but we have also created the master plan for stretching your personal development with the Ultimate Music Theory certification course for teachers. The Ultimate Music Theory Certification course will give you the secret to understanding learning styles and rapport building techniques, master neurolinguistic programming to create successful relationships, teach basic, intermediate, and advanced rudiments with massive success, and create financial freedom with done-for-you marketing to grow your studio. So for all the information on the Ultimate Music Theory Certification course, simply go to ultimatemusictheorycourse.com and everything is there for you. Now, our UMTC success story is Rebecca, known as Becky Landreth. Now, she received the Teacher of the Year award from the Texas Music Teachers Association, and you know how big Texas is. That's a big deal. She is the chair of the Theory Syllabus Committee for Texas Music Teachers Association, a nationally certified music teacher in piano by the Music Teachers National Association, and teaches piano, music theory, of course, and history. And we congratulate Ultimate Music Theory certified teacher Becky on all her success. Now, here's what Becky had to say upon completion of the Ultimate Music Theory certification course for teachers.
Hi, my name is Becky Landreth and welcome to my studio in Texas. I've recently completed the UMT Theory Teacher Certification course, and Glory asked me to make a video to share my story with you. So here goes, I'm going to give it a try. Unlike Glory, I've always loved theory. Even from being a piano student in my young years, I've always loved theory. And I've worked in the last 9 years with the Texas Music Teachers Theory Committee. And so now you're probably saying, so why would you take a theory course? And why a certification course? Well, those are really good questions. And I had several reasons. However, my primary reason was for motivation for my students. I found that not all of my students, unbelievably so, did not share my love of theory. Now, some did, but there were a good number that didn't. So I thought I needed some new and innovative ways to teach and relate theory to my students that I wasn't thinking of. So I enrolled in the theory course, and I can tell you that I have taken from that course so many things that I now use with my students, and it's really helping in their theory education. Some of the things like learning styles. Glory St. Germain talks quite a bit about the kinetic and the aural and the visual learners and how to relate to each one of those learners, because we have all of those in our studios. So it's important to be able to relate the material in a way that they can internalize it and understand it. She also gives us many test prompts and other teaching tips along the way to help with memory joggers on tests. One of the things I really like and I use with my students is to have them write out their teaching memory prompts before they go take their test. They can't take notes in with them, but they can write all the notes that they want to in their test. Now, I don't do the Royal Conservatory test, but I do the Texas Music Teachers test, and while theory is theory, the tests are similar, and so I use a lot of what Glory taught in preparing my students. I hope that you will look into the test and enjoy the different teaching tips that Glory shares throughout the course, as well as the wonderful knowledge about theory that she shares with in a very professional way throughout the course. As always, enjoy teaching.
Thousands of music teachers have found massive success in their teaching as they use the proven step-by-step Ultimate Music Theory system. It's not just teaching a workbook, but the Ultimate Music Theory certification course is an online teacher training program that will elevate your professional development and definitely stretch your rubber band. The UMTC examiner, Sheila McKibben-Uren, and I invite you to join the Ultimate Music Theory family. You can enroll today and get certified. We are here to support you and your learning and walk with you every step of the way. I know you will love it. Because at UMT, we are developing musicianship skills through the supplemental series that includes analysis and sight reading, a fun review game, and a final exam at the end of each workbook. These concepts are essential for all musicians. Musicians in the Making is a program where music students have the opportunity to stretch their wings and use their musicianship skills to perform at the concert hall. And now you may recognize some of my students, Ayana, Sophia, and the twins. You see them there, my little red-headed girls. They're so adorable from previous videos in the supplemental series. And now Quinn is on the right. He's the very cool guy on the far right. And you're going to meet Quinn in the next level 6 supplemental video presentation. And you'll notice Cassidy, who is standing right beside me, has truly become more confident and stretched her musician skills big time. Let's hear the final word from 2 thumbs up, Cassidy.
Miss Cassidy, you did so good today. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm finished the Basic Rudiments book, the Level 4 supplemental book, and now I'm finished the Level 5 supplemental book. So I feel really good, and I'm going to get 100% on my exam.
I love it. Attitude is everything. Great job, Cassidy. Thanks for all your super work. Good luck on your exam.
Thank you.
Be sure to get registered for the UMTC course and grab your supplemental teacher pack. Speed of implementation. Now implement the lessons you've learned today. Grab your rubber band and stretch it. You know, stretching gives you a shot at significance. Our willingness to stretch is the gap between good and great. And improving yourself is the best way to help your students, your community, and your family. Successful people set themselves apart. And that's how successful people grow. Teach with passion. In our next session, you will discover 5 UMT bright ideas that you can easily implement in teaching level 6. I'll see you in the next video.